Hey guys, it's me, Michelle Greaves, and I just finished up 7 Years by Dannika Dark, and I'm really excited to get into this. So, Dannika Dark is another one of my favorite authors, okay? Keep in mind, I have read a lot of books, so I kind of already know who my favorite authors are. But she has this series called The Seven Seals, and it's a paranormal romance. All right, it is about wolves and mages, and oh, she's got a whole entire world that is really, really cool. So, 7 Years is about a friendship, okay, that, oh, how should I say? 7 Years is about a friendship between Austin and Lexi, okay, who grew up together and were linked together by her brother. Okay, there's a tragedy at some point in their lives, and then, obviously the way life goes, things happen, you kind of grow apart, distance gets involved, things like that. Well, Austin comes back, and now he's ready to kind of, put some roots down, settle down. He wants to, stabilize his life. So he ends up, kind of reconnecting with Lexi. Except Lexi now has her own life, which is about to change drastically, and she goes through a lot of changes, and he helps her. All the while, facts start coming up about the tragedy that the two of them experienced, and how that's still affecting their lives in the present. So, the human behaviors. Well, obviously, there are a lot of human traits, okay, in any book. It's kind of difficult to narrow it down to just 2 or 3. So, with that said, I chose, one, the communication between friends, between couples. That communication is so key, and it becomes difficult when you feel that awkwardness there. Not everyone wants to open up and share. It's very, very tough to reveal your heart. All right? It's very, very tough to reveal your heart when you know there's a possibility that it's going to get hurt. So understand that you need to be brave. You have to have courage. And again, that doesn't mean that the fear is gone. It just means that you're strong enough to work through that fear. Remember that no matter what happens, revealing your heart, you want to take that leap of faith, because you got to go through the hurdles in order to get to the relationship or the fantasy that you want. So, with that said, their communication was off. All right, distance has put some awkwardness there. Not to mention that they were friends. And now both of them are teetering on the breach of changing that friendship into a relationship, a love interest. So both are skeptical. Austin's trying to hold back for his reasons. Lexi is holding back for her reasons. And it's interesting how the two of them analyze their relationships. That's another key human element, I believe. And I think a lot of times in the dating process, even in relationships that are already formed, we forget to analyze things. Now, there are some that just go overboard and just, we jump off that ship with too much analyzing. But it is a good thing. Stop and analyze what it is that you want to say, how it is you want to say it. If we take that minute just to stop and think about what and how we want to say things, 9 times out of 10, we're going to get it across a lot better. We're going to get it across to the other person, and they have a better chance of understanding what it is that we're trying to say to them. They have a better chance of understanding what it is that we want or need from them. All right? And the other communication factor, and you will probably hear me say this quite a lot, okay? Communication is so key in any relationship. In the beginning process, it's extremely vital. But to maintain the relationship, it's key. But communication, if we break it down to its simplistic nature, it's very, very simple, but I think a lot of times we forget it. Communication is about a sender, a receiver, and then feedback. Okay? One person is sending the message, another person is going to receive the message, and then there needs to be a communication. There needs to be that feedback between the two to make sure that the receiver understood and received the correct message that the sender sent out. It's funny, we can do this in emails. All right, in business, we are constantly protecting ourselves. We're confirming and documenting everything, making sure that there is no miscommunication, that there's no misunderstanding in the message that we sent. So we document everything. We send emails. We have conversations on the phone. We have conferences, and then an email or a letter is sent confirming that. Hence the contracts and things like that. That is all discussed back and forth until everything is perfectly clear. But yet we don't do that in our relationships. And that is the key to making sure both of us are on the same page. Now, we don't want to make it feel like our relationship is a business transaction. But at the same time, we want that same clarity. We want that same process. Take that process and apply it in our personal lives. Send, receive feedback. And if it wasn't received correctly, repeat. Keep sending, keep receiving until the clarity is there. Okay? And I think that was demonstrated very clearly because between Lexi and Austin, there were a lot of messages that were sent, but the other one didn't receive it correctly. So going back and forth and understanding, it's very, very, very important that we take that step. If we can do it in business, then let's apply it in our personal lives as well. And then back to the analyzing. Analyzing things helps us to understand, okay, maybe I do need to send this message out a little differently. Okay? Maybe I need to open up and explain this. Maybe I need to explain that. Now, analyzing doesn't mean you start trying to read their body language. You start trying to read everything that we're saying. Because when we do that, and solely that, a lot of times there's a lot of miscommunication. We don't quite understand. And people do one thing. Their body will say one thing, whereas their words are saying another. People don't quite understand what body language means today. Body language is more of a interpersonal process. It is one of those things that when you're around somebody enough, you can start to understand, because our bodies will communicate things that maybe we just aren't ready to say. So that's key. But we can't rely on that completely. Okay? Body language along with that communication process, sending, receiving, feedback, and if incorrect, repeat. All of those is what helps build that communication. Okay? It takes a long time to get to the point where you can read your mate just by the things that they do. My husband and I, we've been together 10 years, and we still have some times where we misread each other. And then hence an argument might start. But we've also learned to fight fair, which is another whole topic. And we've learned that, you know what? Maybe we need to stop. Let's just stop, walk away, and we'll come back and revisit this. We'll put a pin in it. So these are things that you learn through that communication process. You understand and you learn each other's buttons, what not to do, how the other person gets mad, how they view things. But with that communication comes trust and understanding and valuing. Look, I'm giving you this information about me. It's personal information. Don't turn around and use it to hurt me. When we do that, the other person is going to respect us too. So, all right, I think I gave you enough about the book. I'd have to say, again, even though I have favorite authors, and Dannika Dark is definitely one of them, 7 Years is definitely a it is a good read. The character development, the relationship between Lexi and Austin, and how they developed through the story, I think Dannika did an excellent job with. The storyline and the plot was amazing. If we were to judge books solely on the plot line, then this would be a wow factor. Okay, because again, her plot, which carried through for 7 books, was amazing. But obviously we can't judge just on one thing. But character development, the syntax, the plot, the story itself, how the story progressed, how it developed, revealing certain aspects and tying each other in, I thought was done exceptionally. Exceptionally. So Dannika Dark, definitely one of my favorite authors. 7 Years, I recommend. If you get a chance, please read this. It's a book that won't disappoint you. Alright guys, so as usual, hey, please subscribe so you can see more of my book reviews, and drop me a comment on what you think.